You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie O'Day, and this is episode number 46, Cultivating Creativity, Part 2. This is the second part of an amazing interview that I did with an incredible woman, Kim Demmon, a real person, a real friend of mine, and she is the owner-operator of 2 websites. The first one is todayscreativelife.com. And then the second one is jackpinejones.com. She and I have been friends since 2008. She was actually the very first blogger who reached out to me, and then we became hard and fast friends. And every time I talk with her, it's as if we just pick up where we left off. And that is exactly what we're going to do today. We had a little bit of internet trouble. All of a sudden, the Ethernet cord that I was using and the Wi-Fi cable, it went out in the middle of our interview. So we stopped it. So we're going to pick up right where we left off. And if you've got any questions, if you're trying to find a way to take some time and find a way to have more creativity in your life, enjoy the things that you're working so hard to, and realize, let's shelve the shoulds for a while and let's do the things you really want to do. Kim is a testament to that. And that is what we're going to dive right back into. If you've got any questions, email me, steph@stephanieoday.com. Find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook. But for right now, I hope you enjoy the second part of this interview. Okay, we are back. We had a tiny bit of technical difficulty, so thank you to Mike from Ship It Studios for making this work. And so this hopefully will be somewhat seamless on your end. But Kim,
yes,
you've gotten cut off, and that is because my internet died.
I probably got cut off because I started getting a little controversial with the wellness industry.
I gotta tell you, I am really shy when it comes to anything controversial. So, and that was sort of part of the Crockpot Lady's business plan, is the Crockpot Lady doesn't do anything controversial.
Sorry.
That said, Steph is a real person and you are a real person. And I think everyone is entitled to think and do whatever they think and feel is right. And at that time, what you were talking about with the naturopath and the functional doctors is you were not feeling what they were quote unquote selling. It didn't feel right. You didn't want to do these things.
Well, but I kept thinking it was my fault that I wasn't feeling right, because I truly did believe what they were telling me. And then as I evolved and learned more, and then I realized that whole industry is just not regulated. And all the tests that they're giving are not even, they're not indicators.
Yeah. Well, see, that's interesting because you were uncomfortable because they were not regulated. And some people are very uncomfortable with big government and things being overly regulated. Okay, so it's definitely
right. I get that. Like, don't you think?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think people really understand, though. I mean, you want your food regulated. We have safety measures for certain things. And so you would think that, I mean, there are some really dangerous wellness products out there. I mean, in that one podcast.
I do agree with. I do believe that some things are dangerous and other things are not. And I do believe that every human should
absolutely, and there's the word should, but you should absolutely do your own research and not blindly follow anything. Go ahead.
Which is difficult to do your own research because there are people don't even understand how to read a study. I don't really. I'm learning that the studies that I was reading weren't even real studies, peer reviewed. So, I mean, it's just a rabbit hole when you go down, and I just don't think people understand. And it's not that I want the government regulating what I can take and what I can't take, but at least regulate so there are good scientific studies behind these supplements. I mean, like St. John's wort can be very dangerous. And I think it was the one that can, like, if you're taking birth control and St. John's wort, your birth control probably isn't going to work. But they don't have to say.
So again, I think you should absolutely Google the hell. Gosh, I've been swearing a lot today. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I bring it out of
you. Well, in real life, I do swear.
But yeah, hey, swear away. But yeah, I just think that
I think you should absolutely Google and everything and get as many opinions as possible and not just take everything for what it's worth.
Well, and look at the study. Find out where it's from, because I didn't. I took everything like, oh, well, this says I should take this. Okay.
Right.
This says that it helps this. Okay. And I just didn't question anything. Right. And I guess I
absolutely should not start taking something because a lady you follow on Instagram told you to.
Especially if that lady doesn't have any background certifications. I mean, there's some bogus certifications, but in the wellness, in nutrition, I mean, that's,
and if she's getting
that's a whole nother.
No. And if she's getting paid to do it. So,
and selling products. If they're selling a product, then most likely their information is skewed.
It is skewed. So, I don't know, a good 20 minutes ago or so, you had talked about how your original site was on Blogger, which is a free blogging platform that Google puts out, and anyone can start that in about 10 minutes. Yes. You can throw a blog up on the internet. You will have Blogspot in the URL. So the very first Crockpot site was crockpot365.blogspot.com. And then eventually I bought a URL through GoDaddy and pointed it. But the site is still hosted on Blogger. And I promise I'm getting to the point here. I was reached out to by Bluehost, which is a blogging hosting company, which has the reputation of not being good. It is not a good hosting company.
They're big affiliate. They offer really big affiliate dollars. So you'll see a lot of bloggers promoting them.
How to start a blog. Almost everyone is going to suggest Bluehost.
Yeah.
Well, Bluehost reached out to me and they told me I would get $65 for every person that signed up. And at the time, the site was getting a whole bunch of traffic. So I wrote back to them and I said, I'm not going to promote this. I don't even use this. And it's not a very good hosting service.
Yeah.
And the guy wrote back and forth to me a few times. And the moral of the story is I absolutely, quote unquote, left money on the table.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel good to me. But
right.
that was my morals, my ethics, and your morals and your ethics. But if you Google how to start a blog,
they're going to show up.
Everything you will ever see tells you to start with blog.
They did the same thing to me. And I even thought, well, maybe I'll just, he goes, all you have to do, because they really coach you through it. Just put on a page how to start a blog, here are these steps, blah, 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 host with Bluehost. And it's so funny because now if I go to a blog and I see that, it's like almost the identical thing that they told me to do. And I'm sure they're making, I mean, some people make bank on that. But like you said, I'm like, and I don't even use Bluehost. And I have heard, I don't have the experience, so I don't, I'm just saying what I've heard, is that they're not even that great.
No, so
people have problems with it.
There's some big name bloggers out there, and I'm not going to name drop, but they still recommend Bluehost. But if you go,
are they using their host?
No,
they don't even use them.
They are not. And so Jeanette has always been my longtime site designer, and so she's able to figure out just by reading code. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
She's like, they use this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But that's how we ended up picking the hosting company that I currently use. Is she found a site with similar traffic and then went through the back end and read the code and figured out who the hosting company was. So, anyway, so back to the topic on hand. It was supposed to be talking about creativity. And I love you. And I think what we just did.
we just had a girlfriend chat.
We had a girlfriend chat, but it felt creative. It felt real.
Yeah, I mean, don't you feel...
It was real. So how do you do the things you want to do and what feels good if you think you have this laundry list of stuff that you're supposed to do, whether or not it's in business or in your real life? How do you... And what would be your advice for someone who feels they don't have time, they can't do the things they want to do because there's too much other stuff that they have to do?
Yeah, and I fall into this. Sometimes I think, I can't start until I have my house clean, or I have to clean my craft room. But what I'm realizing too is that by cleaning my craft room, that inspires me. So I use that inspiration then to get going. Like the other day, I'm thinking, I need to make some candles because I wanted to make some candles for my son's new apartment. But I kept thinking, but I have to do this first. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, just grab your stuff and take it downstairs to the kitchen and do it. And so I think sometimes just making yourself physically, for me, get my candle stuff and go downstairs. And that's all it took. And then it ended up being the most simple thing, which I've done them before. But in my mind, I'm like, and I have to do this. But I don't know. I think I just tidy my space to inspire myself if it's not tidy. And I just get the stuff out.
Yeah.
I just get the stuff out.
And if you are constantly putting stuff aside, it will never happen. It will be, because life
you wait
has twists and turns and in-betweens, and there always be a reason why you can't start a project.
If you wait for things to be perfect, you'll never do anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think you just have to remember, was it you that told me the whole eat the frog?
Yes. Brian Tracy, eat the frog.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes even though it's something fun, but you're stuck, there's still a frog in there somewhere.
There is. Well, and it's a big part of being an adult. I mean, nobody wants to empty the dishwasher and take out the garbage. But you really do have to do it. You really have to do it.
Yeah. You eat the frog. Do the thing that you don't want to do the most. So like for me, the overwhelming part of starting that project, because I have all these projects, like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but then I'm not doing them. So I'm thinking, okay, why aren't you doing them? So sometimes it's just a matter of gathering the projects, the stuff for the project that is stopping me.
Well, what I am impressed by with you is you appear. You appear through social media to live this colorful, amazing, fulfilling life.
You're so sweet.
Where you're building outdoor fireplaces and you're redoing this and you're fixing up wicker furniture and you're doing all of this like super fun, amazing stuff, which then comes together in this patchwork quilt of a pretty darn amazing life.
Thank you. I never ever feel like it's perfect. I'm always striving to, because of course you look at everyone else and like, I want my space like theirs. I want this. But I think sometimes we lose sight of what we really do have. Because we always see the imperfections. I look at my yard and think, that plant needs to come out, or, this needs to happen. Actually, we're waiting on a pergola. We're going to be putting a pergola where our outdoor fireplace is, which that's going to look amazing. So I'm always looking at the negative, and you have to kind of reframe like, okay, wait a minute. Because, you'll get the feedback, oh my gosh, your yard is amazing. And I'm like, well, that's because you don't see the whole thing. And I'm thinking, why would I think that? Yes, it is amazing. So it's just, amazing. Sometimes it's just a shift in your thinking. And instead of looking at the big picture, maybe make it smaller into little, I'm thinking, this side looks great. Or I love this flower. Or, I just think sometimes we are our worst enemies, and I don't know. Maybe it's just a life thing that I'm always trying to be better. I don't know.
So So it is a life thing, and it is a mindset shift, what you're talking about, of being thankful and having gratitude and being in the here and the now and paying attention to all that you have instead of focusing on the negative.
Yes.
So that said, so put a pin in everything I just said.
Mm-hmm.
That said, you're not dead yet, Kim.
I know.
There's so much stuff to do. So if you want the pergola because it's in your brain and it would make you happy, then like go for it. And life is to live and enjoy. And you saying, oh, okay, I want to take out that plant. That isn't necessarily a negative. It's sort of inspiration in that you like gardening. Like it doesn't feel like
my husband. I
pull out the plant and go.
Yeah, I point to say,
you like it.
Yeah, I say plant that, and he plants them. But I think part of it though is that you always feel like, and I'm the kind of decorator, like I am never done with a room, but I always think I'm going to be done with a room, but I never am.
Okay, so let's think about that too, because that is the creative process.
It's just the evolution.
You like it. You love it. Like you're the most in your element when you go into a room and you're like, oh my gosh, you could do this, 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 and this. So, I mean, I've heard you say, oh, I love a good before and after.
Oh, yeah.
You see someone's room and you love giving advice like, oh, you could do this, this, and this. How about this wall color?
Yes. I love doing that. Sometimes in my own home, it gets overwhelming. And so I don't do anything. And then I hate that room. And then I'm like, and then I change it all in one day. But I don't know. I think it's just I fight between this balance of wanting things perfect. Things are never perfect, and realizing like, no, things, obviously you got to be logical. And I don't know. I can't, there's just always an evolution. And I think sometimes, obviously, it drives my husband crazy sometimes. I think sometimes he's thinking, are we ever going to be done? Are we ever going to be done with this yard? Are we ever?
So come visit me and we'll go to the Winchester Mystery House.
What's that?
Oh, that's amazing. So that's
Winchester Mystery House?
Yes. So the premise is Mrs. Winchester was haunted by the people who were killed by the Winchester rifle during, I think it's World War I.
Oh.
And so when her husband died, she got this house, this mansion, and she inherited all of the fortune made from the Winchester rifles. But she believed the spirits were constantly whispering to her, and so telling her to add on. So she never stopped adding on to her
I think I saw something on this.
Yeah, well, chances are if you're in Portland and the Winchester Mystery House is in San Jose, chances are there's billboards in Portland telling you to go visit it. Because it's definitely a tourist attraction.
But sometimes that's the way I feel. I mean, I just feel like I'm never finished with something.
It's the Golden Gate Bridge also. You finish painting it and you turn around and you start all over again.
Yeah.
It's okay because you like it.
I do.
No problem because you like it.
Well, but I think I'm moving into a season that I'm not liking that. Like I want the comfort of the room. It's not, I mean, I don't want to give the image that my rooms are in like constant, chaos or, ladders everywhere and this and that.
No.
It's just that I guess it's maybe finding more contentment with things and spaces and why sometimes I think, Kim, why can't you just leave the same pillows all year on your sofa? I can't do that. I do enjoy.
I do have a practical question about that because I would like to change out the pillows on my sofa for seasons and holidays.
Yeah.
But where do you store them?
Oh, well, see, that's the problem.
Because I go into home goods.
Okay, so here's my tip.
I want that, but I literally...
Right, here's my tip. Do not buy any pillows that don't have a zipper.
Oh.
So then what I do is I zip it off and I fold them and I have them in my linen closet. And actually I just moved them my son just moved out, and so I'm putting them in his dresser now. So I have because my linen closet is too small to house everything that my linen closet needs to house. But I have them in bins and they're just stacked, my pillow covers, and I use all down. I ditch the pillow cover if it's not down. and I use down pillow inserts, and I just swap those out then.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I kind of want to go back to, so in our we've got Home Goods and we have Hobby Lobby, and I was in both of those last week, but I didn't buy anything. But they have these really adorable Halloween pillows out.
But see, here's also my tip on that type of seasonal. It depends, with specific seasonal. Something that says Happy Halloween, you can only use that really for maybe 30 days.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay. If you're okay with that.
I have like a garden gnome on the porch, and he has different hats depending on.
Okay. If you're okay with that, that's fine. I try to stay away from anything except at Christmas that I can't use like for the whole season.
Okay.
So like for autumn.
Yeah, but I don't know if you have seen these Happy Halloween pillows with the little gnomes and their little hats and the outfits. I think you would be into them.
I don't like gnomes, though. I don't like gnomes.
I really like
gnomes.
I'm
good with the gnomes.
We're done.
I know.
This is over. Mike, we're done. Cut it off.
But, it's just, if people are worried about excess, then stay away from, like, anything that is specific to an event. I go more with colors for the season, except for Christmas. I have more of a Christmassy type.
And we should tie it in, and we should pitch your stuff. So you have printables on your
Oh yeah. Okay, so
and so when you log in, am I correct that is your kind of freebie to get them on the list? Is if you sign up for my newsletter, which I've been really bad about sending out, so you won't get bombarded with them. But I need to send them out soon since I'm paying for that. The URL is all one word, todayscreativelife.com.
Yes.
And then right away you'll
see a pop-up window.
Become a VIP.
Mm-hmm.
So you should become a VIP.
You should. And then you get access to the printable vault. And everything in the printable vault under all different categories is free. All you do is click on it and it downloads onto your website.
And you're very generous with your freebie.
I am, because I didn't realize early on that maybe I should set it up for charging. And it's too much work to figure that out now. But I do have then some things for sale. And then I have created a course, because so many people would say, how do you make that? And again, I'm not a graphic designer at all. I use PicMonkey and Canva, and I've just figured it out, and I've created some really fun things. And I like to offer free things on my website. But a lot of people were asking me, how do you make that? How do you do it? I'm like, I just make it. So I decided to really knuckle down and figure out the steps that I did use to make these things. And I created a course on how to make creative printables for your home. So, and in that course, I'm giving you tons of templates, because templates are the hard part, like a tag template, a template for a to-do list, a template for my brain is just going blank, but all the templates, and then all you have to do is plug in what you want to design with. So I'm showing you everything, how to do it with PicMonkey and how to do it with Canva. And then you can create your own stuff. And I think it's only like $39 or something. It's cheap.
It's very generous. You are very
Thank you. And they get a ton of stuff. I mean, it's a great little course. And you don't have, so many people are like, oh, I'm not creative, which everyone is creative. It just looks differently.
Everyone's creative. Well, and I know I have a lot of teachers that listen, and this is fantastic for classrooms and bulletin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because even if it isn't stuff like for their home, I'm showing them where to get the graphics or where I use stuff that they can find any theme to use for whatever reason, whatever theme they're using. And then I also created the course on 10 ways to, I don't know the name of it, 10 ways to improve your blog. And these are just non-techie ways to improve your blog, because as we all learned when we started blogging, we didn't do it because we love the tech side. And then I realized, oh, wow, I have to know a bunch of this stuff, which I now have a developer and programmer, so I don't have to do a lot of that. But, that can be a real roadblock. And then just, we just want to write and create and show people our stuff. But there's certain things you can do so that the people can see, Google picks it up and people can see it. So that's a really fun course too. And I'm really bad at promoting them, but I spent a lot of time developing those. But the printable one is super fun. I like that one. So
I think you are great.
But, and then I developed the Jack Pine Jones.
Yes. So that is your newest baby, and that is very creative.
Yeah. That kind of, again, that wasn't anything that we set out to do. My sister and my niece, and we're all creative in the kind of the same way. My niece is very good at understanding all the tech stuff because she's young and it just comes naturally to her. And we started out.
So I just want to state out the URL, and then when the email is out.
Jack Pine Jones.
So it's all one word, the word Jack, Jack, Pine, PINEJONES.com. And since everyone listening is super into planners and all that kind of stuff, this is right up there. And we've got so many products ready to roll out. It's just crazy. But Jack Pine was the road we grew up on, and Jones was our maiden name. And so that's why it's Jack Pine Jones. And my sister and niece first developed a vision board kit. And they are really into vision boards and the science behind it and all that. And I still need to do mine. So I am into vision boards. I don't know if science is the right adjective to go along with it, but I like the law of attraction. I like
these are amazing.
And I'm also very into the placebo effect, which is sciencey backed. Because if you think something's working or creating something, your thoughts change, and all of a sudden you just become more aware, and opportunities, quote unquote, seem to fall in your lap. But they may have already been there. You're just more aware.
I agree.
And you're paying attention to them. So there is science.
My sister was trained by Jack Canfield, and excellent. They have a kit, the Vision Board Collective, and it's a kit, and it's amazing. It's got affirmation cards and all the images, and it's got a genius kit thing. And it's amazing. And so we have the kit, and then I've created a to-do list, and we have some daily planners, things like that. And so the website's only been live for about 3 months, and we sell on Amazon. Okay. And, so it's just kind of, my niece just had a baby, so we kind of took a little hiatus this summer, and I'm going to be in Utah next week, so I'm sure we're going to hit it hard and get our scheduling and organizing, figure out our publishing calendar and all that. And so that's kind of another reason why I've just kind of let the blog just take a rest. The blog runs itself as far as, I'm at a level where I make the same amount of money whether I write on it every day or if I don't. So I keep it updated. But this is the last month. I really haven't done much with it. But so look for more stuff coming from Jack Pine Jones. That's kind of my new baby with my sister and my niece. And it's exciting. Yeah.
It is exciting. I think that's great, Kim. And I like that you said that you turned 60, 61.
I will be 61 in September.
61 in September. And you're still fully living life. You're not out to pasture.
No. Like I said, I am a late bloomer. I didn't even get married till I was 36. Had my son at 37. So when I hear people go, oh, you can start a new career at 55, I'm like, well, yeah, duh. It just doesn't.
So that's a big part is people write to me and some of the coaching work I've done is people think that they're behind or they think that it's too late. And you are the living, walking, breathing testament that is not true.
Thank you. I think, though, aging has affected me differently where I just ignore a lot of the noise. It's easier to ignore the noise. Or what you like and what you don't like and what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Your boundaries, at least for me, my boundaries are very clear with everything. I'm not, nothing is as ambiguous. Is that the word I want?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to feel forced to, keep doing recipes and photographing them right now. I hate photographing them right now. I just hate it.
I talked about that in the last episode, and that my food photography, I'm just not interested in it. And I get it. Some people really, really are. I personally am not.
It just is such a ordeal for me to get set up. And I'm sweating, and it's hard. It is hard to style a photo, And I mean, I've got you can't see my shelves over here, but it's just all my props and linens, and just like, oh.
Yeah. No, well, you can have a little TV show going in there. Absolutely. You've done TV work.
I used to. That is another thing that I am not interested in at all. I am not. Here's the thing, too, and I'm not saying this for compliments. I'm not saying this. I am not as photogenic as I used to be. I've got droopy skin. I have a droopy neck. When I was doing our local morning show here a while ago, and I loved it. I think I'm okay at it because I'm not nervous. I don't look at the camera. I can easily talk with the host. It's not, so I didn't, I was this stiff, uncomfortable person. And I came home, and my husband, who's on TV all the time, but he's like, let's watch your segment. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. And so he's like, oh, let's watch it. So we're watching it. And I'm like, oh, wow. I had no idea my chin was so bad, Yeah. And he's like, honey.
Saying, not because I think your chin is bad, but I do know what you're talking about.
But no, I was just like.
Because the people you see on TV are not real people. There's
a look. There's a look, and I'm not the look. And when I saw my chin, I'm like, oh my. And my husband's like, oh, honey, you're the only one surprised by that.
Oh.
Because, he looks at me every day. I don't look at myself in the mirror all day, or when I'm moving around or whatever. But, it kind of goes back to the whole Instagram, too. And not that I know there are older accounts that are doing great. But for the most part, my beliefs, and I could be wrong, but this is just my opinion, Instagram is a young girl's game, or a young person's game. There's so much visual aspects to it that if you don't fit, you don't have the long hair and this and that and super cute and this, then it's going to be a little bit harder. And obviously there are older accounts, and I do follow those, but I don't know. And everybody wants to know, where are your sunglasses from? Where are your shirt from? Where's this from?
My answer is Target.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm talking about plants. And they want to know where this is from and that is from. And I'm just like, what? Okay. It's just like you're just this, like, this plate, this fashion plate of being dissected. It's not my thing. But so back to TV.
I like TV. I enjoyed being on TV, but I don't.
You're good at it.
I liked it, but I don't want to cook.
I know.
I was filmed for a television pilot for slow cooking. And I was telling the producer, this is going to be really boring because it does nothing now for 8 hours. So, but I like helping people. So I would love at some point, if the opportunity ever presented itself, to do some sort of show where I can go in and, you should come too and help organize. Sort of life coach these frazzled families and be like, let's simplify this. You do not need to have all of these things on your calendar. It's okay to say no. It's okay to simplify. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to declutter and not feel like the walls are closing in on you because you have too many.
But isn't it interesting how society has taught people that the busier they are, the more valuable they are? The glorification of being busy is just, and you see people doing it all the time. Oh, I've done this, and it's only 8:00. It's like, okay, it's one thing to feel accomplished. We all want to feel accomplished, but we need to move the.
So, and it's chasing gold stars. It's not getting a feeling of worthiness from within. And gosh, I was writing about this the other day. It starts at such a young age where you're doing things for claps and high fives from your parents, and then literal gold stars and grades from your teachers, and you're just performing, and you're not necessarily stopping and pausing and thinking, what is it that I really want to do? And
because so many things are done from obligation.
Yeah. And it turns into a competition. Like, oh my gosh, you can't say, I made my bed this morning, because then someone will say, well, not only did I make my bed, I did this, this, and this. And
I changed my sheets.
45 meals to the homeless shelter.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you won.
Right. I know. That's kind of another thing the pandemic brought me, is that it really put the brakes on. I mean, I don't think we talked about this, but I had a total hip replacement on my left side March 5th, right before the pandemic shut down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was perfect timing. And then I had my right side done a year ago in May. And
so that's interesting to me, because you've always taught fitness classes. You were doing aqua aerobics. You were doing the different
things. I grew up as a gymnast, cheerleader, and then I taught fitness for 35 plus years. Yeah. And so I wore my hips out. I wore them out good. Okay. And it was so bad that I was somewhat isolated before the pandemic anyway, because I would go and I taught for the city of Portland. I did injury prevention classes, ironically, every morning for 15 minutes, did 2 classes, drove home, and then did my blog job.
Yeah. And so when we were Skyping pretty regularly, you often would have just come back from that summer. And another thing that you have, and then I'll get back to your hips, you have such influence over me that there is a rec center within walking distance, and my retirement job, I've decided, is I'm going to get yoga certified, and then when Adam goes off to golf, I can walk to the rec center and teach yoga, and then we can reconvene for lunch.
There we go.
But anyway, I hope you know throughout this time how often you are in my brain and how often.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. But,
okay, so tell me, how do your hips feel now?
Oh my gosh, fantastic. They're brand new. There's no pain. It's just, and it was such a great surgery. If anyone, that's my husband texting me, who I said, don't text me because I'm doing a podcast, but
well,
they forget.
It has been an hour and 45 minutes because of my internet.
Yeah.
I think we're going to break this up into 2 episodes, which is going to be great, because now I don't have to do anything for a week.
There you go. Yeah, but no, I was somewhat isolated because I was in so much pain that once I would get home, it was such an effort to go anywhere else, like to go grocery shopping or anything like that. It was so painful. So I would just come home and then just stay home, and I wouldn't go anywhere. So once the pandemic hit, I thought, well, nothing's really changed for me. I had the surgery, and I don't take painkillers. I'm allergic to opioids. And so I was a little worried about that, and no pain. I'm learning that I process pain completely different than normal people. And I realized I didn't even have labor pains when I had my son. I just threw up the whole time. And then all the surgeries I've had, I just take Tylenol and Advil. And so I was worried with the hip one, but no pain. And I was walking cane-free on day 8 on my left side. And then I had my right side done, walking cane-free on day 6. So if any of the listeners are thinking, oh, I need to get my hips checked or get surgery, make sure that if they're getting their hips replaced, it is robotic assist. That is the cream of the crop. And I'm not kidding. It gave me a new lease on life. I'm walking between 1.5 to 3 miles a day. I'm either doing the elliptical or walking.
Okay.
I've lost 11 pounds in the year because my focus isn't weight loss. And
no, it's long term.
Yeah, I need to lose weight, but I'm not I'm not doing that manic thing.
Well, and being obsessive compulsive over a number doesn't mean anything.
Right. And growing up as a gymnast, a cheerleader, I've had my issues with disordered eating. And so I am really careful not to trigger anything that will put me in that mode, because that's not healthy.
No.
So, but yeah, I feel so much better. I'm not in pain. I can't even believe how much pain I used to be in. You just don't even realize until you're not out in night with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think just that, along with the pandemic, has really helped me shift what, that, like you said, it's okay to slow down. And if you don't feel like doing something one day, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Well, and it's true, because I do say that if we're lucky, life is long. So,
Yeah.
and unless cryogenics really takes over, the end game is all the same. So
Right.
stop racing. Like
Yeah.
you have time. Yes, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, but we all could get hit by a bus tomorrow,
Mhm.
and that's not something we're going to plan for. So
Yeah.
thoughtfully
But I
and
don't-
methodically make a plan, and then bit by bit, baby step by baby step, you can do the things you want.
Yeah. I'm trying not to feel guilty. Like if I'm tired or overwhelmed or whatever, if I just want to lay in my bed and watch a movie today, I'm going to. I mean, it's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, I think too, the pandemic, and I think a lot of people went through this, is that then once you did start socializing a little bit, it was exhausting.
Yes.
Exhausting. And I still, I had a lunch with someone yesterday for 3.5 hours, and I feel a little tired today. Like I just need to, I'm just going to take it easy the rest of the day,
Agreed. Well, Miss Kim Demmon, I'm going to let you go, because I do actually have a lunch. I have a lunch with a teacher friend that I'm gonna go meet.
Well, this has been delightful, and it's like you forget that you're even doing a podcast. You're just chatting with a friend. So hopefully, there's enough nuggets and information that your readers will enjoy.
I think they will. I think real advice that is from a been there, done that. I've lived it. I'm telling the tale. It's all going to be okay. And I'm not trying to get you to buy something. I'm just literally sharing out of the goodness of my heart. Goes a long way.
Thank you.
It really does.
Thank you. I agree. And I love you to death. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. You take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieodea.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.